the southern part of Bangladesh, where we have cyclones, we have floods, we have waterlogging, we have river erosion, we have salt water intrusion. So those hazards, those disasters are our daily life, part of our daily life. So we are surviving there since thousands of years. How we did that? Okay, so I am from the south part, and that is, the green one is salinity affected area. There we have wetlands. Wetlands did serve different purpose to our community, to our food system, to our lifestyle, to our biodiversity, to our adaptation, to our mitigation. So how we did farming there? The aquatic hazard plants that we call aquatic hazard, we collect the plants and like water hyacinth, there goes on, straw, water hyacinth, and vines. It gives us vegetables and it gives us strength to the floating bed. With coconut husk, with algae, local seed, local people, local technology, and we produce seedlings there. And we put the seedlings to the floating lands. All the land is, all the beds are floating beds. So we supply 60% required the saplings of ornamental plants, vegetables, and also the food crop to the all over the Bangladesh. 60% comes from the wetlands and floating beds. So under the water, under the floating bed, we have peatlands. It is conservative estimation that we have more than 100,000 hectares of peatlands. But due to different reasons, due to flood protection measures, due to risk non-informed development strategy, policy and actions, due to fish culture, intensive fish culture practices by the local elites mainly, we are losing the wetlands, we are losing the peat soil. So while we are losing the peat soil is emitting carbon dioxide. But these are the intensive fish culture, and those are controlled by local elites, local politicians. So they rent they take rent our lands. Sometimes they grab it by force, and they culture fish intensively there. So one thing is that the peat soil is being destroyed, and also the disaster risk is being increased. How? Because the wetland contains huge water, from flood water, from rainwater. It holds the water, so it could come to our land or to our houses. And water cannot flow down, water cannot recede to the sea, to the river. So we have waterlogging situation. You can imagine. So we checked the peatland, right? Yeah, our peatland. We claim that it is one of the best peatlands in the globe, and we dig 20 feet from surface to the underground, and under 20 feet we found peatlands, peat soil. Government policy doesn't support or doesn't care peatlands. They don't care. But they do have support for policy support and action support for floating farming. That's a good thing. But they don't have any policy. They are not concerned. I was expecting one of our government officials here. Unfortunately, he is busy with our minister. But I will forward the message. The message will be forwarded to them directly, so that they will be concerned with the peatlands. So while I was something stagnant and I was at loose, what can be done? Then our local hero, Mr. Hossain, he jumped in. He is one of our volunteers. So that he made the survey within our locality, around our locality where peatlands was. I am sorry to say that peatland was. Most of the peatlands are being destroyed. So he first made a report on national newspaper, and this report is the first and only one report regarding peatlands in Bangladesh. So we did some research, local research. So we have a couple of piloting projects there. How peatlands could be saved, how peatlands could be more profitable than destroying it. We integrated floating agriculture, floating farming. We integrated local fish species there. We introduced new crops. We brought crops, floating crops from the north to the peatland area, so that we have multi-purpose benefits from there. So, in a nutshell, the floating farming on peatlands, it gives us adaptation strategy. And it gives us mitigation strategy. It gives us resilience against disaster, against food security, food insecurity. So, but the mitigation part, we are not able to explore it yet. So, what to do now with the initiatives or with the production system? We need scientific data. How much peatland and wetland still we have, and how much wetland, peatland we can restore. Those who have been destroyed by homestead, just leave it there, because we have to leave also. We need the scientific data, we need the piloting, and also the evaluation of our tiny experiments, so that this could be more amplified, this could be increased. And we need capacity strengthening, not only farmers with floating farming and peat soil conservation, but also for the policymakers, also for the researchers. So definitely they are lacking their capacity to understand the floating farming and peat soil conservation things, so that their capacity must be strengthened. And in that case, with the farmers, we can support them to strengthen their capacity regarding the issue. Then we can move to the national level, so that we can enact the national policy to conserve the peatland along with the floating farming. And then definitely we can integrate the system with the climate change agreement, with the disaster risk reduction framework, central framework, couple of SDGs, not one or two. I can relate at least 7 to 8 the sustainable development goals with our system. And also we can link it to carbon market, and fortunately we can transfer the technology, we can transfer the idea to Europe, to Africa, to other parts of where peatland exists and where floating farm is not there, so we can transfer the technology, and even we can transfer a couple of our technical partners. Now I am very grateful to my friend Francisca, Dr. Francisca. She is one of the renowned scientists regarding peatland, and I would like to request you to evaluate our attempts to give us some courage and give us guidelines how to move forward. Thank you very much.